and welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Jill.
And I'm Julie. So each week when Jill and I are showing you books, we are always looking at authors on the back cover. So we thought this week we would turn things around and have books that have a face on the cover looking at you. So we're looking at you this week, and I'll turn it over to Jill for her first pick.
So some of my people are not really looking at you because this one, her eyes are closed. The Book of Someday. 3 women, 1 stranger, in a shimmering silver dress. Whatever binds them together has already destroyed one life. It might just consume them all. Someday Livy Gray will break free from her past. Someday she will escape her recurring nightmare about the stranger in a shimmering silver dress. Someday she will have a family of her own. Now she's found Andrew, and someday she seems to be right around the corner. But there's so much that Livy doesn't know. Shortly before her 30th birthday, she will come face to face with the stranger from the dream, an encounter that will alter Livy's future and crack everything open she knew about her past. Livy is swiftly moving toward the ultimate turning point in her life, and she's not the only one. Linked by an unforgettable mystery, photographer Micah and young mother Anna Lee are also being rapidly drawn into a web of devastating secrets about the unexpected ways in which we choose to protect and betray the people we love. So, The Book of Someday.
My first book is an old pick, actually, but couldn't resist these eyes and lips. This is the first book in the Bridget Jones series, and it is Bridget Jones' Diary by Helen Fielding. This was published back in 1999. So, meet Bridget Jones, a 30-something singleton who is certain she would have all the answers if she could A, lose 7 pounds, B, stop smoking, and C, develop inner poise. 123 pounds. How is it possible to put on 4 pounds in the middle of the night? Could flesh have somehow solidified, becoming denser and heavier? Repulsive, horrifying notion. Alcohol units 4, excellent score. Cigarettes 21, poor, but will give up totally tomorrow. Number of correct lottery numbers 2, better, but nevertheless useless. Bridget Jones' Diary is the devastatingly self-aware, laugh-out-loud daily chronicle of Bridget's permanent, doomed quest for self-improvement. A year in which she resolves to reduce the circumference of each thigh by 1.5 inches, visit the gym 3 times a week, not just to buy a sandwich, form a functional relationship with a responsible adult, and learn to program the VCR. So like I said, this one goes back a few years. Over the course of the year, Bridget loses a total of 72 pounds, but she gains a total of 74. She remains, however, optimistic through this year. And through it all, she will have you helpless with laughter, and like millions of readers the world around, you'll find yourself shouting, "Bridget Jones is me!" So check out Bridget Jones' Diary if you haven't ever checked out this series.
Great book and great cover. I love it. That one's really is looking at you. My next one is called Beneath the Lion's Gaze. This is by Maza Mengiste. This story opens in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia in 1974. On the eve of a revolution, Jonas kneels at his mother's prayer room, pleading to his God for an end to the violence that has wrecked his family and country. His father, Haru, a prominent doctor, has been ordered to report to jail for helping the victim of a state-sanctioned torture to die. And Dwight, Halu's youngest son, has joined an underground resistance movement, a choice that will lead to more upheaval and bloodshed across the ravaged Ethiopia. So, yeah, kind of a different story that'll take to Ethiopia. Beneath the Lion's Gaze. It's got a face on it.
Sounds interesting. My second pick is Amanda Quick's The Girl Who Knew Too Much, published in 2017. She's the best-selling author of Till Death Do Us Part. In this book, she transports us to 1930s California, where glamour and seduction spawn a multitude of sins. When Hollywood moguls and stars want privacy, they head to an idyllic small town on the coast, where the exclusive Burning Cove Hotel caters to their every need. It's where reporter Irene Glasson finds herself staring down at a beautiful actress at the bottom of a pool. The dead woman had a red-hot secret about up-and-coming leading man Nick Tremaine, a scoop that Irene couldn't resist, especially since she's just a rookie at a third-rate gossip rag. But now Irene's investigation into the drowning threatens to tear down the wall of illusion that is so deftly built around the famous actor. And there are powerful men willing to do anything to protect their investment. Seeking the truth, Irene finds herself drawn to a master of deception. Oliver Ward was once a world-famous magician, could have used that for Magician Week, until he was mysteriously injured during his last performance. Now the owner of the Burning Cove Hotel, he can't let scandal threaten his livelihood, even if it means trusting Irene, a woman who seems to have appeared in Los Angeles out of nowhere 4 months ago. So you have to read this book to see how this one turns out. It's actually part of a series. It's the Burning Cove series. It is book number 1 in that series, which currently has 6 books in it. So if you're interested in a new series, check out Amanda Quick's Burning Cove series. The Girl
I like
Who
that
Knew Too
era
Much.
of Hollywood.
Me too.
That's
Me too.
neat. I see this cover a lot, and I've always been curious. The Maidens by Alex McCallids. Edward Fosca is a murderer of this Mariana's circuit, but Fosca is untouchable, a handsome and charismatic Greek tragedy professor at Cambridge University. Fosca is adored by staff and students alike, particularly by the members of the secret society of female students known as the Maidens. Mariana Andros is a brilliant but troubled group therapist who becomes fixated on the Maidens when one member, a friend of Mariana's niece Zoe, is found murdered in Cambridge. Mariana, who was once herself a student of the university, quickly suspects behind the idyllic beauty of the spires and turrets and beneath the ancient traditions lies something sinister. And she becomes convinced that, despite his alibi, Edward Fosca is guilty of the murder. But why would a professor target one of his students? And why does he keep returning to the rites of Persephone, the maiden, and her journey into the underworld? When another body is found, Mariana's obsession with proving Fosca's guilt spirals out of control, threatening to destroy her credibility as well as her closest relationships. But Mariana is determined to stop this killer, even if it costs her everything, even her own life. So
That's on my list to read, but it's kind of lower on the list because my list is pretty long.
yeah.
My third pick, kind of have a woman looking kind of wistful on this one, is The Lady of the Rivers by a popular author, Philippa Gregory. This one was published back in 2011, has 4.02 as a rating on Goodreads. Married to the Duke of Bedford, English regent of France, Jacquetta is introduced by him to a mysterious world of learning and alchemy. Her only friend in the great household is the Duke's squire, Richard Woodville, who is at her side when the Duke's death leaves her a wealthy young widow. The two become lovers, marry in secret, returning to England to serve at the court of the young King Henry VI, where Jacquetta becomes a close and loyal friend to his new queen. The Woodvilles soon achieve a place at the very heart of the Lancaster court, though she can sense the growing threat from the people of England and the danger of royal rivals. Not even their courage and loyalty can keep the House of Lancaster on the throne. King Henry VI slides into a mysterious sleep. Margaret, his queen, turns to untrustworthy favorites for help. And Richard, Duke of York, threatens to overturn the whole kingdom for his rival dynasty of the House of York. Jacquetta fights for her king, her queen, and for her daughter, Elizabeth Woodville, a young woman for whom she can sense an extraordinary and unexpected future, a change of fortune, the throne of England, and the White Rose of York. It's a sweeping, powerful story, rich in passion and legend, and drawing on years of research, The Lady of the Rivers tells the story of the real-life mother to the White Queen. So I don't read Philippa Gregory's books, but they're pretty darn popular here at the Kimberly Library.
I have read some of her books. Not that one, and they're very good if you like royal stuff. So my next one is Dean Koontz, also a popular author for probably a different crowd. Your Heart Belongs to Me. At 34, internet entrepreneur Ryan Perry seemed to have the world in his pocket until the first troubling symptoms appeared out of nowhere. Within days, he's diagnosed with incurable cardiomyopathy and finds himself on the waiting list for a heart transplant. It's his only hope, and it's dwindling fast. Ryan is about to lose it all: his health, his girlfriend, Samantha, and his life. 1 year later, Ryan has never felt better. Business is good, and he hopes to renew his relationship with Samantha. Then the unmarked gifts begin to appear. A box of Valentine candy hearts, a heart pendant, most disturbing in all, a graphic heart surgery video, and the chilling message, "Your heart belongs to me." In The Heartbeat, the medical miracle that gave Ryan a second chance at life is about to become a curse worse than death. For Ryan is being stalked by a mysterious woman who feels entitled to everything he has. She's the spitting image of the 26-year-old donor of the heart beating steadily in Ryan's own chest. And she's come to take it back.
Uh-oh.
So, classic Dean Koontz.
My fourth pick is a familiar face. This is actually from our children's fiction collection, but I had to include Wonder by R.J. Plazio, published in 2012. It's one of the most famous faces on my list. I won't describe what I look like. Whatever you're thinking, it's probably worse. August Pullman was born with a facial difference that up until now has prevented him from going to a mainstream school. Starting 5th grade at Beecher Prep, he wants nothing more than to be treated as an ordinary kid. But his new classmates can't get past Augie's extraordinary face. Wonder begins from Augie's point of view, but soon switches to include his classmates, his sister, her boyfriend, and others. These voices converge to portray a community as it struggles with differences and challenges readers, both young and old, to wonder about the true nature of empathy, compassion, acceptance, friendship, and ultimately kindness. Augie's a hero for the ages, one who proves that you can't blend in when you were born to stand out. It was a New York Times bestseller for over 5 years. It's received numerous national and international awards, including being one of Time Magazine's 100 Best Young Adult Books of All Time and USA Today's Top 100 Bestsellers. Love this book. Love the movie that the book was based on both. So I think it's a book, even though it's in the children's fiction, that everyone should read. So my fourth pick is Wonder.
That's a really good one. And I feel like it does help with building kindness and things like that. That's important. So my next one is His Only Wife by Peace Adsomedi. I'm still thinking about the guy with the heart. Effie Temple is a young seamstress whose life is narrowing rapidly. She lives in a small town in Ghana with her widowed mother, spending much of her time in Uncle Pius's house with his many wives and children. Then one day she's offered a life-changing opportunity, a proposal of marriage from a wealthy family of Elikerm Ganyo, a man she doesn't truly know. She acquiesces, but soon realizes that Elkim is not quite the catch he seemed. He sends a stand-in to his own wedding, and only weeks after Effie is married and installed in a plush apartment in the capital city of Accra does she meet her new husband. It turns out he is in love with another woman, who his family disapproves of. Effie is supposed to win him back on their behalf. But it is Accra that eventually wins Effie's heart and gives her a life of independence that she never could have imagined for herself. A brilliant scholar and a fierce advocate for women's rights, author Peace Adsomedi infuses her debut novel with intelligence and humor. For readers of Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie and Candace Carty-Williams, His Only Wife is a story of indomitable and relatable heroine that illuminates what it means to be a woman in a rapidly changing world. So, His Only Wife.
My last pick is actually a familiar face. This is the Netflix version of this book, actually. This is Self-Made, inspired by the life of Madam C.J. Walker by Alelia Bundles, published in 2020. Oprah Winfrey is renowned for her media savvy, marketing sense, philanthropic efforts, and accumulated wealth, and the power that accompanies it. She's earned her rep, of course, and her path to stardom and influence couldn't have been easy. But then imagine how difficult it must have been a century ago for Madam C.J. Walker, America's first female African-American millionaire. The daughter of slaves, married and divorced by the age of 20, Madam Walker spent nearly 2 decades as a lowly scrub woman before concocting, or as she claimed, being presented in a dream, the formula for a much-needed hair care product for African-American women. After making her hair care business a resounding success, Walker devoted much of her time and resources to social causes and philanthropy. In On Her Own Ground, the author, Walker's great-great-granddaughter, and a woman of no small accomplishment herself, she spent many years as a TV news producer for NBC and ABC, she offers an affectionate but unblinking portrait of Madam Walker. Bundle's mother urged her daughter from her deathbed not to worry about promoting a particular image of their famous forebearer, to simply tell the truth. She explores the complicated relationship between Madam Walker and her only slightly less renowned daughter, and the author's namesake. So, if you're interested in a story about this was a Netflix limited series, and also check out the book. This is actually on my list of books to read also, so she's a very important woman in the African American community. So
Awesome.
Self-made.
Well, we hope we gave you some ideas on what your next read is. And if you're walking through the Kimberly Library and you feel like somebody's looking at you, it could be these books.
They will be on our Friday Reads display. Like, comment, share. We always like to hear from you. You can find our video on Facebook. You can find our video on our YouTube channel. So till next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.